tour 2 weeks ago, you would understand why I'd be freaking out right now. All right, we are going to be talking about Edith Cannon. She is buried right here, and she has no headstone because her family was shamed to her. She was the elephant woman of Norfolk. All right, so who here has heard of elephantitis? Everybody has. It is a condition which disfigures and disables thousands of people globally in the modern world today. It produces high, unsightly swellings on the limbs, in some cases the genital area. People with the condition can find their lives are ruined. Many cannot walk or work, and some became social outcasts simply because of the way they looked. In the Victorian period, when someone had elephantitis, they were forced to live inside their whole life and never leave the house out of fear people will laugh, make jokes, and bully them. I think that would still happen today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In tropical countries, elephantitis was usually a really common disease. This is caused by a parasitic worm which breaks down the body's lymphatic system. Edith did not have this type. Her elephantitis was the result of an infection which was thought to have set in after a minor accident. She banged her back on a table and developed elephantitis because she cut herself. The bacteria in the table went into the wound that caused elephantitis. She was in her 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. It is, elephantitis is notoriously difficult to diagnose and treat even these days. Back in the Victorian period, no treatment at all. The intense pain spread to other parts of her body, affecting the skin, bones, and neurological system. She went from doctor to doctor for help. One doctor lanced a swelling on her foot and infection set in because they didn't disinfect their tools back then. You see, there's a common theme going on here. The doctors actually made things worse and helped back then. All right, so when the infection set in, her condition worsened. Remember back when surgical tools were not disinfected, they were used over and over again without being cleaned from patient to patient. Her leg became so swollen and the affected area she's unable to walk, and the doctor treating her described their case as the worst he ever seen in Virginia. From being a fit and attractive woman of 25, she became a woman who could no longer walk and was imprisoned to her bed. Her leg had to be amputated as the infection in her leg threatened her life, but the elephantitis had spread to her other leg and arms as well. She lived to the age of 67, spent most of her life in bed. In extreme pain, she would take opium to help with the pain. People with elephantitis generally do not live long during the Victorian period. Most usually succumb to infections. Edith eventually did die due to the elephantitis moving up her arm into her neck. And as you've seen, some people with elephantitis, how their whole neck swells out. Their windpipe slowly does this as well. And then one day it just swelled, cut off her breath, and she died. Suffocated to death. The suffocation was the cause of death due by elephantitis. I cannot find any pictures of her because the family were ashamed of her. They pretty much locked her up in her room and she never came out. She is buried right here without a headstone. And pretty much the family won't even, pretend the person was alive back then. So it was common during the Victorian period. And even today, some families still act like that. What's that?
I'm surprised I didn't turn her over to a carnival.
No, she couldn't move. She had one leg gone. Moving her would have killed her pretty much too. So, but it's pretty bad when your own family turns on you because you look different. You suffer from the disease. All right, we have 4 stones left. We're hoping to finish.